Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Grab your glass of beverage, whatever you choose. I have ginger liqueur and Kavita's drinking red.
Red wine, red Zinfandel.
Wonderful. So we're just relaxing and talking, and we thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about um, our spirituality, how we ventured on the path, and where we are today.
Nice. And if you've already been following some of our earlier episodes, we have 3 before this one. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Please put a comment because we love to hear what you're thinking, what your thoughts are, about what we've said or what's going on for you. And remember to press the like button and the subscribe button if you like what we're doing here so that
Yes.
we can stay connected with you. And if you're joining us for the first time today, if you like us, just press the like button too. But yeah, grab your drinks, whatever you're drinking. You get juice, whatever you want, and we're gonna dive in.
Yes. So, our spirituality, our paths into what this existence is for, and what spirituality means to us. And it means a great deal to us. We've learned a lot in this journey, and we'll have Kavita start.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's been something that's connected us. I think we've gone through growth and changes over the years we've known each other. So we start with kind of what spirituality means to each of us. So for me, I think I think spirituality's always meant connecting with something that's bigger than myself, something that's bigger than all of us, really. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's about what we don't see, like what's not here, but it's still part of our world. I don't know. It's hard. It's such a hard thing to explain, but for me, it's always been connecting with that piece of myself, but also the piece of others that is, in my mind, bigger than what we see here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes can mean God and sometimes it hasn't or doesn't, but it's the things that are not explainable in this world. And for me, we can connect to that. It's not far away. It's right here.
And scientists are often accused of not acknowledging the spirit, but that's exactly the opposite.
Hmm.
Scientists are very much into acknowledging spirit. Something greater than ourselves
Right. That's true.
taps us into the universe,
That's so
which is
true.
definitely greater than we are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really, like there's this like tension that happens between science and religion, and I don't even think religion is the same as spirituality anyway, but
No.
there's like this tension that exists, and I think it's more in the Western world. Like I don't think it's always existed. I think it's kind of a modern day phenomena that somehow if you're a scientist, you discount religion. I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
modern phenomenon. Maybe people think they're progressing, but I just think it's just like what some people might. I think it's actually a belief system, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually a belief system, and
Mm-hmm.
we've had belief systems, for millennia. And for me, and I do consider myself a scientist. I was trained in the scientists. I taught sciences. Um, I don't see that dichotomy. I just don't see it. I think science is one way that people try to explain the unknown or the mysteries,
Mm-hmm.
and spirituality is another way. They're part of the same continuum
Yes,
for
they
me.
are. I believe that. I believe that also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we both, like we've talked before about, like we're both kind of like got that scientific brain, logical brain, but we both
It's
also have strong faiths.
yes. It's a questioning. It's a reckoning. You know,
Mm.
what ties us to this universe? Um, it's not only about worship, it's about understanding our relationship to the world around us. And for me, faith is a very important facet of my life. I
Mm.
learned it young. I learned it through hardship, and it's been most rewarding. Um, Christianity has taught me a lot to have the faith the size of a mustard seed. Have you ever seen a mustard seed? Very tiny.
Yes.
You can move mountains, my mother told me. I was like, what are you talking about? How can something that tiny move mountains? And that's when I learned of metaphor
Oh,
and
wow.
allegory.
How old were you?
7 or 8,
Oh my goodness.
young, very young.
Yeah.
And my faith has increased tenfold since that moment of that explanation. Mhm, mhm.
And you remember sort of getting it from that metaphor?
Yes. Oh, I got it at her
Got it.
explanation right then and there. I got it. And of course, that sent me on a quest.
Oh, yeah?
How do you use this faith? What is this faith? What is faith?
How do you move mountains with it?
Yes. You move the obstacles in your life, the things that unsettle you. You have the faith that it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world.
Mhm.
And that there's something bigger that we don't see. Like we're only seeing a piece of reality right now.
And that we're not in control of.
Where we don't know what's going to happen next.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's really deep. I think for me, faith has been stronger at times than at other times, and there's been
Mhm.
times where my faith has been shaken and non-existent.
Mhm.
Um, and then times where I can't get away from it, like it's everything, like it's like this is just how I see the world. And
Mhm.
I said that like spirituality is different from religion, but I have had a lot of religious influences that kind of that influence how I see spiritual connection and how I see faith. So for
Mhm.
me, having grown up in India for the first part of my childhood, I was surrounded by Hindus. I was raised Hindu,
Mhm.
and my parents were Hindu, and I didn't know that there was any other way to see the world. Like that was it. That was the only way. I mean, we
Mhm.
actually, I'm sure we did have Muslim friends. I actually remember having Christian friends, but they were very far and few between. And I don't even think I knew what those words meant. you know,
Yes.
what a
Yes.
Hindu or a Christian. I didn't know what any of those words meant. We were all just kids.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
I left there when I was 7, so this is all pre-7-year-old me.
Mhm.
And Hinduism was just like the way we lived. It wasn't, I didn't see, it was just my outlook on life. And it was only once I came here, I was introduced to Christianity, then ultimately Judaism and Buddhism and, some other faiths, that I realized that the difference. But for me, I think there was a pressure for me it was internal pressure. Nobody was pressuring me. It was just me pressuring me. Uh, you know what I mean?
Self-examination. Confucius was all about that.
Oh, see, there you go. You know the Confucius teachings. All right, that's great.
Yes.
There's one I haven't studied yet. So I thought of myself as a student of religion in my 20s because I was searching. I was trying to figure it
That's
out.
it.
Like, am
That's
I
it.
Hindu? Am I Christian? Is it something
Mhm.
else? I, got involved in a Baha'i center at one point. Like, where is my belief? And I thought I had to name it. And now, it's, been another 25 years.
And it's many beliefs. It's many,
Yeah.
many
And
aspects.
yet only one. It's just that simple, that it's just me connecting with the greater forces in this world. And
That's right.
Hindus think of it this way and name it this, and Christians and Jews and Muslims and Buddhists and, what have you,
It
Confucius.
doesn't need all those names.
It
It
doesn't,
is that
there's just
one
a name.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So I think
That's right.
so religion has been a big influence on me. but ultimately what it's led me to is to that, like, the essential, which is the same in all of them. I
Yeah,
believe that's my belief system.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And nature is a very big part of that. And that's where I can include the universe. I can interchange the word God, and I'm saying the word God with the word universe. Because
Wow.
the force, yes, the force that is in the universe is great. And I often say, and I may say it offhandedly, and I hope God won't strike me down, but I often say life is physics. It's really physics. Love is physics. Life is physics. Food is physics.
Hmm.
Biology is physics. Everything is physics. And I didn't learn that until, hmm, or didn't accept that, or was introduced to that until maybe in my 40s.
Do you remember, like, what you felt when that became a realization? Like, was it about nature, or what was that about for you?
It was about my study of mathematics and all that, the beautiful mathematics, but without something to apply that mathematics to, it was just counting, it was just,
Mhm.
but you need mathematics to venture into physics.
Right.
And so they became kind of one with me. And then we talk about chemistry between people and situations. So it's all science to me. It's all
Well, they say
physics.
science is just applied math, so,
Well, it's
it's all
mathematics is necessary.
yeah, yeah.
Science can't exist. Mathematics is the language of science.
Okay.
But physics, we talk about kinetic energy. I mean, physics is everything to me.
Mm,
It's kinetic energy. It's photosynthesis. It's just, it encompasses everything.
right. It's the way that we have found to explain our physical world. And
That's
we
right.
don't know all the answers scientifically,
Hmm.
and that's where the mystery comes in. Like, there's always going to be mystery, like, I don't know if you remember, um when they were starting to talk about the God particle.
Yes.
Yes. And it's like, when we find this, like, that's going to be the end. Well, it wasn't the end. There was always more, because
There's always more.
there's more mysteries than we know. And we
Hmm.
think we can try to know it all, but that's not really what it's about. And at some point, like, I still consider myself like a seeker, like, I'm searching for, meaning, whatever it may be. I love reading different
Hmm.
religious sacred texts. I've always
Hmm.
enjoyed that. Um, but ultimately, none of that leads to, like, some sort of ultimate knowledge, because it's never been about knowledge.
No, no, it is about connection.
Yes.
It is about connection and understanding that, you know, when we become all knowing, we're going to exit this plane. We're no longer necessary here.
Right, right,
Yes.
right. We don't even
Yes.
know where the other planes are yet. So
No, but we know it's out there.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I believe that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I say it's physics, it can all be explained, I think, through physics, and we still don't know.
Yeah.
But you and I went to the particle accelerator in
Mm, oh
Chicago.
my God, I
We
forgot that
forgot
I
that.
dragged you there. Well, you loved it too,
Yes,
because you were my math buddy. Oh my God, I
yes,
forgot that.
yes, and they were closed.
Yes.
But
But we got to
somehow
see some of it.
they let us in. They let us
We got
in
to
to
see
see
it.
something.
Yeah. Fermi Lab. Was
Mhm.
that Fermi Lab?
The
Yeah.
Fermi Lab
Yeah.
in Chicago. That's right.
Outside of Chicago, not far from, because we've talked, I think, on a previous episode about our trip to Chicago, maybe.
Yes.
And my cousin was living out there, and somewhere near
Yes.
her,
Yes.
very close to where she lives,
Hmm.
was the
Hmm.
Fermi Lab, and you went there with me. We drove out there and we went inside,
Oh my goodness.
and
Oh my
it was like a pilgrimage to me. I mean,
goodness. Yes.
I had read so much
Yeah.
about it, you know?
Oh my goodness. My goodness. And around that time or sometime later, the Fermi problem, what did they call it? The Fermat. That was different.
Okay, I'm not.
Fermat solution.
Okay.
So this science was being explored all around us,
Yes.
you know? And I grew up with Adam and Eve in the garden.
Mm,
So to then deal with Einstein and the theory of relativity and kinetics and the sun and just the effects of the in the universe changed a lot for me.
yeah.
So spirituality has been a changing phenomenon for me.
Yeah.
It's not one thing. It's not just nature. It's not just Christ. It's not just my mother and father.
Mhm.
Or my friendships and my relationships. It's everything.
It's everything.
It's changing all the time.
Well,
Hmm.
and I think that, like, I think that's what spiritual growth is about, right? Like,
Hmm.
the changes that we go through, there may be a thread of something I believed in my 20s that's still here now, but ideally it's grown and changed. It's not,
Yes.
like, we go through changes with the different influences that come into our lives and the different experiences we have. I remember when my dad passed.
Hmm.
Now that was going to be a moment where either my faith got really shaken
Hmm.
or strengthened,
Deepened. Yeah.
and for me it became a deeper, stronger faith. And there were actually things that happened around the death that, if I were the only one who had witnessed them, I might write it off. But that my brother, my sister-in-law, me, my mom, we all witnessed together. And it was, so then weeks later I was like, did that really happen? And they're
And
like,
what was that, if I may ask? May I ask?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something that, like, I've tried to explain to people and people are like, nah, no way. But for me, it happened and I wasn't the only one who saw it. And it just deepened my faith so
Hmm.
much more that, you know, I grew through it. And
Hmm.
it could have gone the other way. My dad was one of the most important people in my life. He was my foundation and he was
Hmm.
gone and my earth was shaken,
Yes.
but my faith strengthened. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I'll just say one thing that most people might be like, that's crazy, but here we go. This is now come in public. But you know, um my dad, we knew he was going to pass, and he was surrounded by his immediate family and his two brothers and their family. Like, our whole entire family was there. There must have been 12 people, and we were all surrounded. And he, during his last days, he had been in the hospital for a long time, listened to these Hindu prayers and songs and
Hmm.
bhajans. They're like hymns, I guess. And
Hmm.
the I think it was actually a tape, like a cassette tape, because that's,
Oh boy.
I don't remember now. I don't think it was a CD. I don't. I have a
No.
feeling it was like an actual cassette tape, and it
Hmm.
would just be running constantly, right? Like, we just, like, would turn it on again, and it would just run. I think I might be wrong about the cassette tape. Doesn't matter. Maybe it was an iPod. Was that the day of the iPod? Maybe it was.
No.
So it would just be
Not yet.
constantly on, and uh for some reason we were all talking. We were, just talking with each other, all connecting, talking about my dad, and we had the volume turned down.
Mhm.
And at some point it came on like full blast. No one turned
Mm.
it up, but it was just like loud. And it was the arti, which is it's the main prayer you would say if you're going to temple, to Hindu
Oh.
temple. And it's something that, like, now I do regularly with my family, but at the time I didn't. But we all knew it. It came on, so we started all singing because we all know it. We all sang
Oh
it.
my.
Yeah, so we're all singing it, and we get to the last verse, and we all sing the very last words. It fades out, and the nurse comes in and tells us he's gone. It was
Mhm.
like that was it. That like it was like that was the last thing that happened for him, and then
Mm.
he's gone. And that wasn't the only thing. That was one thing. There were just things that happened where I was able to come to peace with the fact that
He
he
was
was gone,
transitioning.
but he was
Mhm.
transitioned. Like this was his last moment on Earth, and it was a moment where he's surrounded by all his whole family that anyone that was nearby. Obviously, not the folks from India, but
Mhm.
anyone here, and we all are singing this very, very important prayer that was important to him. Maybe it
Mhm.
wasn't even that important to me then, but it was important to him. We're all singing it, and that's his last moment with us, and then he's gone. And
Mm.
there's just a number of things like that that happened over the next several weeks. And at some
Mhm.
point, I turned to my family and was like, "Did that really happen? Imagine that?" But everyone was there. Like, yeah, it really happened, and there were too many of them, and I was just like, "All right." I just have to believe that there was meaning to that. Yeah, I mean, I'm a scientist, right?
Mhm.
At some point, you have to feel like, how many coincidences am I going to write off as coincidence?
That's right. It
If I
increases
believe,
your faith. It increases your faith.
yeah, if I
Yeah.
believe that when you observe a pattern in nature, it means something, and then there's
Mhm.
different interpretations we find for what we observe. At some
Mhm.
point, I have to believe if I observe enough things that are part of a pattern,
Mhm.
at some point, what is the best interpretation? Is the best interpretation that every single one of them is a coincidence? That doesn't work for my scientific brain.
No.
Work. I've
No.
seen it. Nobody told me. I saw it, and that's
Mhm.
me. And so since then, now I keep my eyes open because I think miracles happen all around us, but we can ignore them if we want to.
That's right.
So that was a
Yes.
long, long way to answer, but
No, that was so wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. What do you?
So
So yeah, what
we
do you?
learn,
You're
we
thinking.
learn, we learn new things every day if we're lucky
Mm,
and if we're paying attention. And that's what we're here for. We're here to learn. We're here to accept change and increase our spirituality, to enhance our relationship with the creator, the universe, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
And I'm so grateful for the experiences that have taken me to that place.
Mm,
It means the world to me every day in every way.
wow.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you. I feel like you've been a part of my spiritual journey. I feel like we have gone through so many changes, but we have this openness with each other
Mhm.
where I can share things like that with you. I don't always do that with everyone, but we hear
Mhm.
each other's experience and just take
Yes.
it in. Just take it in.
You've been a blessing to me because we're so open. And you can't share everything with everybody. But there's been little that we've not shared. And we're always learning new things.
Yeah, I know, right? we
Yes,
we still have things to
with
learn about
about
each other.
one another.
Yeah.
But we're
I
not
agree.
reticent. We're not reticent in our friendship, in our sharing experiences.
Yeah.
And it helps us grow. It helps me grow to hear things that you've encountered and experienced. Mhm.
Same. Yeah. Yeah. That means a
Yeah.
lot.
And I have a sister who I love dearly,
Yeah.
who's only 4 years younger than I am. But you have been a very close little sister to me,
Oh.
and sometimes a big sister.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Oh,
right.
still makes
That's right.
oh, that is so sweet, Janet. You are a sister to me too. I haven't had I have a brother. I have cousins who've been like sisters to me, and
Hmm.
like you're a sister to me, and it's
Mhm,
meant a lot to just walk with each other no
mhm,
matter where we go, because we've
mhm.
gone all over the place.
Yes, we
Not
have.
just like physically, I mean like
Mhm,
spiritually, mentally, experience wise, where we take our lives, our outlooks on life.
mhm,
And it's been amazing to just walk with you no matter where we go.
mm. My sentiments exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Join us next time. Yes.
Yes, join us again. We don't know what we'll talk about, but we always talk about something fun or something cute or something deep. I don't know, sometimes shallow, but
No, never shallow,
never shallow.
but fun. We want to have fun. Thank you, Kavita.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Join us next time, folks. Remember to like and subscribe
Yes.
and comment if you're so inclined.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye now.